There we go. Now I'm not muted. All right. Hello, people. How goes it? Hope it's going pretty good. Just doing a little maintenance right now. And by maintenance, I mean I'm trying to figure out some stuff because I'm doing restream. Because now we're on Twitch and stuff like that. So, uh, mostly been trying something new. Um, but yeah, hopefully it'll go well. And if not, I will blame Restream 100%. um, but yeah, hopefully it's going pretty good. And like I said, if not, we'll just blame you know. Actually, no, we won't blame Restream. We'll just blame OBS. OBS has been giving me some troubles lately. Like my FPS is going down like really bad. But yeah, we will get started soon. I just want to make sure that everything is looking good before I jump into anything. Um, well, oh, I can scroll that way. Okay. All right. So, anyways, let's see, where was I? Yeah. So today we're doing a tier list. I picked one, and I just decided to go with it from there. Um, I'm kind of interested in seeing how people react to it. I did not go with a tier list that showed a whole lot of distributions. I went with just like 10 of them. And I found this list on tiermaker.com, by the way. So, like, don't put too much thought into it. Like, especially if you find that, like, I didn't cover a distro that you liked or something like that, it's just because I probably don't know about it. More than likely. And, like, I don't want to just jump on a bunch of other things. Like, I want to be able to cover the main ones, and then, like, we can have a discussion about other OSs if we wanted to. But yeah. Yeah, I think this is looking about as good as I'm going to get anyway. So, let me do something real quick. That is not what I wanted. Yeah, this is what I wanted actually. Yeah, because the other stuff just doesn't really matter. Yeah, so like I was saying before, I was trying to do, I was trying to look at Restream, being able to do it and all, and I think I am able to do Restream. It's just dealing with my FPS. I'm not sure what to do about that other than maybe lowering it the next time I go to stream. And it's not going to be like the full 60 like I want it, but I mean, I guess it's whatever. It's either that or it's the software that I'm running for the PNG tuber effect. It's one of the two. I can't really decide which one right now. But yeah, okay. So we got all that out of the way. Let's go. Ooh, that did not look good. I don't know what happened with that transition. The FPS is looking horrible, though. Okay. So this is what we got. This is what we got to work with. All right? We got Arch Linux. We got Debian. We got Fedora, Gentoo, Manjaro, Linux Mint, OpenSUSE, Pop! OS, Red Hat, and Ubuntu. So, I did not come up with this tier list. Like I said, I found this on tiermaker.com, so don't put too much thought into it. It's one of those things that I just don't know how people are going to take this, honestly. So, we're just going to jump into it. Okay? We're just going to jump into it. We're going to do it. See how it works out. Arch Linux. Where are we going to put Arch Linux? I think because I'm using Arch Linux, because the way that it's customizable for me, we are going to put this in SS tier. If I can reach all the way up there. I don't think I can with my mouse. I got to remember that when I go to... That's not where I want to stick it. That's where I wanted to stick it. Yeah, my mouse pad only goes like so high. But Arch Linux, for obvious reasons, goes first. Goes in the SS tier. I like the fact that I can customize it the way I want to. I don't get loaded with anything that I don't want. I get exactly what I want is what I'm saying. Because I can just install... if I need something, I'll just install it. And if I don't need it, then it was never there to begin with. So I don't have to remove it. Debian. What about Debian? What can we say about Debian? Oh, sweet Debian. Alright. So Debian, not as good as Arch. In fact, I think Arch is the only one that's going in the SS tier. But Debian's good for me. Debian is, well, it's great if you want to, have something secure, have something stable. And meaning that you're not going to have a lot of updates with it. Okay? Not a whole lot of updates going on with it. So, with that being said, Debian is going to go in the S tier. Because I would recommend this. I would recommend it if you wanted something that was like just works all the time, like you rarely have to do anything to it. Like you could probably go years without updating your Debian, probably. Like, and the thing too is that you can still run a window manager with it. So like I used to run Awesome WM with it for the longest time, and so there's that. Yeah. So we got Debian and we got Arch already up there. I am probably going to skip around just because I have more opinions about other things. I don't want to. Well, yeah, maybe I will drag it out. I'll drag it out because it's a live stream. If it was a video, I'd be like, okay, let's just pick one and just go with it. But yeah, absolutely. And while we're doing that, uh, let's see. Wow, all the people there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being there for me. All right. Glad y'all can make it. All right. So, next is Fedora. Now, I've had a chance to play around with Fedora. I haven't had enough experience in Fedora to really warrant like a good opinion about it, but I have used Fedora. It's got several spins that you can choose from. Um, and I think it updates like it gets like a new major update like every 6 months where you have to like upgrade your Linux to it. Um, let's see. Where do I want to put it? Ah, okay. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna we're gonna skip that one for now. Gentoo, uh, I'd rather use Mac. There, I said it. Okay, I said it. I'd rather use Mac. All right. Actually, no, I'd rather use Chrome OS. If that was an option on here, I would put I'd rather use Chrome OS. Because I do not want to spend my time building every single package. I don't want to build every single thing. Like, I like the idea that it is customizable, okay? Don't get me wrong. I like that you're able to do all that. However, I don't I don't care for like you're building every little thing. That's what I don't like. But there's other people out there that love it. Okay, don't get me wrong. There's other people that love it, and that's for you. It's not for me. It's for you. Okay. Uh, let's see. Red Hat is also going to go in the I'd rather use Mac OS. Just, I mean, should be obvious, but if it's not obvious, I will explain why I feel this way. I feel like they don't contribute to much of anything. Um, like they've become like this big core. Well, actually, I say that, but they have contributed to a lot of things in Linux. But they made the recent change a couple years ago where they're like, oh, I'm not gonna uh, have my code open source anymore or whatever, and like they had a huge ordeal about that. Red Hat is just like this corporation that I don't really care for, and that's not to say that all corporations are bad because yesterday it got brought up that Debian was a corporation. I don't necessarily think it is, but at the same time, even if it was, I don't think that all companies are bad. I think there are some legitimately good companies out there. Um, I just I just don't think Red Hat's good. I just uh, I just don't really care for it all that much. Okay, next one. Well, before we do that, just taking a look at some stuff. Why does it keep defaulting on Twitch? I don't understand this. Okay, whatever. So now I have to go back on Twitch every single time and just update. Great. I need to figure out how I'm going to update this. Edit stream info. What was the... Oh, yeah. Linux Distro Tier List. I don't know why it keeps going off like that. It keeps changing my info for that. That is insane, my dude. Okay. Now, Ubuntu. Here's the thing about Ubuntu, right? Y'all know I love to crap on Ubuntu. I don't think it's that great. However, if I was in a pinch, okay, just kind of like how Windows is, if I was in a pinch, I would use Windows. Thankfully, I don't have to use Windows, but that's to say this. Ubuntu, I feel the same way about it. I feel the exact same way. If I absolutely had to use it, I would use it. But I don't like using it because, number one, corporation that I don't care for. Number two, all the bugs that I get every single time I install Ubuntu. So, yeah, while I wouldn't put this in the I'd rather use macOS, I think I would put this in the I'd rather use Windows. Okay? Just because it's not necessarily as bad as Red Hat, I would say. Red Hat is like, I would rather use Chrome OS. Gentoo, like I said before, I stuck the Gentoo in the I'd rather use macOS. I stuck it in there because I don't want to build everything. So, but I wouldn't say I'd rather... Well, maybe I would say I'd rather use Chrome OS. Really, that's what it should be. There should be another tier on here that says I'd rather use Chrome OS for some of this. Okay, so now we come down to 5 more. And so we've got we got Pop! OS, we got Linux Mint, Manjaro, Fedora, and OpenSUSE. OpenSUSE, I've seen the Linux Cast cover OpenSUSE a lot. I think that's what he uses now these days. I mean, I've seen some things about OpenSUSE. I don't want to just say that I'd rather use something else, because like I've never used it before. Yeah, I just don't. I don't want to be that guy, right? So what I will say. Oh, wow! Thanks, Restream, for not letting me know that I had chatters. Welcome to the stream, you guys. So glad you can make it. I don't know if Restream's going to be a good, viable option, because it's being weird on me. But yes, welcome. Welcome to the stream. You're just in time. Mint is the king. Okay, so, you know what? I'll talk about Linux Mint in a second. But for right now, OpenSUSE, I'm just going to say I don't have an opinion on it, because I have heard of it. I just don't have an opinion on it. Just simply because it's got some cool stuff, right? But I've never used it before, so we'll just see how that goes. But now let's go to Linux Mint and Pop! OS, because those are the two that I've always recommended for beginners. So I want to start with Linux Mint. Linux Mint is great for those people that are coming off of Windows. And the reason why I would recommend Linux Mint is because out of the box, it's to me, I feel like for a new user, anything KDE related would be complicated. That's just my opinion, of course. I would say like Linux Mint. I mean, to me, it's not as awesome as like Arch or Debian, but at the same time, we're talking about for beginners. So, what I would say is let's do Linux Mint at the A tier. Yeah, because I don't think it's terrible. I think it's good for beginners, and that's when I'm doing this list. I have to keep that in mind. Because if I had to redo right now, if I had to redo this tier list, I would probably end up putting like Debian on the SS tier, and then putting Linux Mint on the S tier, and then also, we'll get to that in a second. Yes, welcome to the stream, everybody. Mint made me enjoy using computers again. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there's still some sort of customizations you can do. I would probably argue you can't do nearly as many as you could say Arch, but like Arch is a special snowflake. Just like Debian is a special snowflake in its own rights of being able to do what it is that you want with it. But we're talking about for beginners, like people that are either just coming straight off of Windows or Mac or even Chrome OS, or people that aren't tech savvy. These are going to be the types of people that you're going to want going to Linux Mint. And speaking of Manjaro, boy, what do I say about Manjaro? Like, I mean, they're kind of sus. Yeah, you're right. You're right, they are kind of sus. I don't think they're necessarily that as bad as some people make it out to be. I don't want to put it in the F tier, but I feel like a sweet spot for Manjaro. I'm going to say C tier. Let's put it in C. And at the end of the stream, it may change. Who knows? Who knows, really, if it's going to change. We'll just see. But yeah, I don't feel like it's the worst thing in the world. I don't feel like it's the best thing in the world at the same time. Because I have used Manjaro before. They put all types of their like promotional stuff. Like, you open Firefox the first time you install Manjaro, like you get to a point where like you see the bookmarks, and it's like, really, you're gonna put these bookmarks in like the browser, like you're gonna shield your branding and stuff like that. Like, I get why they do it. It's because they want to uphold their branding, but like, I don't know. Yeah, welcome to the stream, by the way. Linux Mint over Debian. No, I can see that. I can understand that. Let's see. Manjaro tier list, or no, Manjaro D tier. It's Arch but worse. I don't necessarily disagree with that. That's the thing. I don't necessarily disagree with that. Huh. I didn't even think about it that way. Oh yeah. So yeah. Forgive me for having to jump back and forth between all of the different people here. Because I'm looking at YouTube and Twitch here. So yeah, that's most big distros that have a packaged fire. I mean, not really though. That's not really from. I mean, because you don't see, like, I have never seen Ubuntu do that before. Like, you know, I've installed Ubuntu, like, I don't know, probably at least 5 times in my life, and like I open Firefox, I've never seen an Ubuntu bookmark. Um, let's see. Ubuntu would be way better if they stopped using the trash snap packages. Uh, for me, I don't know that it is snap. What in the world? Oh, I know what fell. My chair. My chair. It's falling apart, you guys. All right. Anyways, I was like, what? Okay. Um. Yeah. They're. I don't know. I don't care for snap packages. I don't care for flat packs. Would I choose flat packs over snaps? Yes, because they are more universal. They're just more beneficial in some programs. Like, for example, right now I'm running OBS Studio with Flatpak, and that's not by choice. That's just because of I tried to open up OBS one day, and it would not open. For the life of me, I could not get it to open, and I don't know if it was adding text in OBS Studio that did it or what exactly, because up until then it was running just fine, but now it won't. And like every time I try to pull it up in the terminal, it says that OBS Studio cannot be found, even though it is installed, and I can uninstall it. But Flatpak has a use for those programs that I just can't get any other time. Um, so, like, for example, um, let's see. For example, there is a program called Live Captions. I think is strictly for um, Flatpak. Let's go ahead and I gotta plug this in. 1 second, you guys. There we go. Had to plug that sucker in. All right. So, I mean, flat packs, they're just. I'd, I'd rather not have to use any type of package manager that's not in the AUR or in the Pacman repositories. I'd rather not. But if I had to, that's what I would go with. Um, so I mean, it has its special cases. The reason I used to use Manjaro was Arch, but simple. The reason I use Arch is the repo size and flexibility. The problem is that when you start mixing packages, you get issues. I uh, I would 100% agree with that. Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. Um, Manjaro is like, yeah, like you said, Arch but simple. Um, I think that there's other. If you wanted to go with something that was Arch based, I feel like there's better ones out there that aren't as, I guess, shady, if you will. Um, I'm trying to think of one right off the top of my head. I was just recommended CashEOS. I have never used it before. I don't know that I'd recommend it right off because I'd have to try it out, of course, but it was highly recommended to me that I'd give it a try at some point. So we may do a live stream on that one day. Um, let's see. I use Flatpak to get Zen browser. Yeah, exactly. Like there's going to be certain use cases where you're going to need uh, Flatpak because it either doesn't run as smoothly or it just works better on Flatpak for some reason or another. Like, or if you can't get it elsewhere. In DevOut, or maybe it's called Endevit, or Endeavor. That's what it is. Endeavor. I have heard of Endeavor. Yeah, they could be good. I don't have enough experience with it. Uh, I was just, I don't know why, but Elementary OS has popped into my head for some reason. I don't remember if they're Arch or not. Oh, I hate when I get that way because I don't remember. But I don't know. I've heard some good things about it too. Endeavor is good. They just paused a broken version of Grub a few years ago. Had to chroot and fix it. Oh, isn't that fun? Isn't that fun when you have to go in and fix things? No, I'm just playing. Oh, isn't that fun? Uh, Tinkering and stuff. I like fixing problems that I have. Because it helps. Oh, it's Ubuntu. Gotcha. Yeah. See that shows how much I know about other distros. Like, I wish like that's the thing about this Linux journey. Ever since I started my Linux journey, I've always wanted to learn more about all these other distributions. So like having users uh like comment to me about like or giving me input about like this distro or that distro, that kind of helps me out because it gives me like more knowledge um about all these other distros out there that I didn't know about or didn't know enough about. Um, Before we continue with the tier list, let me just make sure. Okay, everything seems to be running fine here. Okay, so we got Pop OS. Pop OS was the first distribution I ever used. I don't know what Cosmic is like. I can guess what Cosmic is like, but I don't know what it's like as of now. I know back in the day when I used it for the first time, it was awesome. I loved Pop OS, and it was something that I would highly recommend to beginners as well. So for that, that is also going in the A tier. A tier. A tier. Oh, and then we come back to Fedora. Oh, where do I want to put Fedora? Actually, before I do something with a Fedora, do I even want to move Manjaro? Because, like, Manjaro is, like... I guess it would be a mix between a C and a... Yeah, let's move it to D. Let's move it to D tier. Because, I mean, it's not like I'd rather use something else, but I don't think it necessarily fails completely. Yeah, let's leave it at D. And then that just leaves me with Fedora. Now, I think I talked about this earlier. I I don't want to put it in the wrong place. That's the only problem with this. I don't want to put it in the wrong place. Um, yeah, what do I do about it? Huh. I could. I don't think it's a C, but at the same time, I I don't I don't know that I would consider it an A. Put it in F for Fedora. That's great. Fedora is mid. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. I don't know. Do I feel that way though? Do I really feel that way? I need to evaluate that before I'm just like jumping off into C tier. Uh, I mean, Fedora is like, yeah, we'll put it in C tier, and I might change my mind. Okay, that's the thing. I might change my mind. But that's where we'll leave it for now. You can change my mind here, right? This is because I have more an opinion about Fedora than I do OpenSUSE. I don't think Fedora is that bad necessarily. I don't like that I have to learn another new package manager. I'm just fine with Pacman and the AUR. I don't really care for apt all that much and stuff like that, but I'm okay with it. But DNF is like just a completely new concept to me, and like I don't know, I don't know if I would. I just don't know if I would run it as my main. Is the thing. Um, S for recent software stack. B for too many updates. Um, yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I think that they do have too many updates. Absolutely. Um, yeah, I don't think that's wrong. What do you think about CachyOS? Okay, so I keep getting asked this. I keep getting asked about CachyOS. I don't have an opinion yet because I've never used CachyOS, but from what I've heard, it has like all kinds of like you can choose from all kinds of desktop environments or window manage. Well, I don't know about window managers, but I've heard that you have a plethora of choice when it comes to CachyOS and what you want to use it. I think they yesterday a gentleman came in and I think he also said that it was also good for gaming. Uh, I don't know how much of that is true though, because I'd have to stick it in a virtual machine and just go from there. So that's probably we'll probably cover that in a future stream. Uh, yeah, because I have some video ideas that I've got to get down first, um, and all that good stuff. So, uh, gotcha. Yeah. I was also told it was real fast. Um, yeah, I can see that being a thing. Well, that's our tier list. Nothing in B, nothing in F. Everywhere else, though. Um, yeah, like I said, I just don't have enough opinion about other, um, other distros just because I'm not familiar with a lot of them. Um, I hope to eventually get familiar, and then like next year when I go to do my tier list, I can actually have something. Um, I can have something to show for it. Like all my knowledge just transfers over. Like maybe I can take Chris Titus's tier list and just see what I think about every one of them. Uh, let's see. By the way, do you think that I can go with Arch? I know a little Linux, and there would be no problem with Arch, but I have an NVIDIA GPU. Okay, so NVIDIA. I think, from what I understand, your graphics card only matters when it comes to. I think it only matters when it comes to whether or not you're using a desktop environment or whether you're using a window manager. Um, I think it's just. Actually, no, I don't even think it's that. I think it's. Um, you can get drivers for. Um, yeah, you can get drivers for NVIDIA because I've installed NVIDIA drivers before with Arch. The only thing is that NVIDIA is just it is very difficult at the time to like make sure that you've got all your NVIDIA packages. If you go with something like Arch install, I'm not sure if they're going to automatically install NVIDIA. Um, let's see. You know a little Linux though. There would be no problem with Arch. Um, yeah. So the thing is that you know a little bit about Linux. The next question would be: are you able to tinker with it? Are you able to fix problems when they come about? And a lot of this is just making sure that you can read efficiently and troubleshoot whatever needs to be troubleshooted at the time. I would say as long as you're a little bit tech savvy, uh, you should have no problems with going with Arch. But you have to be able. That's with the notion that you have to make sure that you know like what you're doing as far as like troubleshooting goes. I guess that would be my opinion on it. I would say for you, maybe. I would say if you're curious enough about it, try it out, see if you like it for a little while. If you are not comfortable with a new install on your hard drive, maybe put it in a virtual box and checking out Arch for a little while, see if you run into any bugs. And if you don't run into any bugs, well, then that's great. Um, but yeah, that's what I would do. If you're ever unsure, just try it in a virtual box before you go and do it on a hard drive. But if you want to do it on a hard drive, then you just back up all your files to an external hard drive. And yeah, just call it a day at that point. Have you ever tried getting VR working on Linux? I don't have VR equipment. I would not be able to answer your question. I'm sorry. I just don't know. I just don't know anything about VR stuff in general because I've never had to use it. Um, let's see. So I'm using CashOS and it's Arch based and I really like it. I'm planning on switching to. Oh, what was that? That kind of just glitched out. Um, yeah, I would say. I mean, if you think you're ready, then yes, I would go with it. See what it's like. Um, yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot of opinion about that I have other than that. Like, I don't know if you've been with Cashew for a little while, you feel like you need to upgrade, then I would say upgrade. Otherwise, if you are content with where you're at, then I would move. The only reason I wouldn't move away is if you're not content. And generally, that's when people go to a different distribution, is when they're not content with something of their current distribution. So to me, it sounds like there's something that you're missing from CashOS. And in that case, yeah, um, I would definitely go for Arch if you think you can handle it. And if not, it's not really that big of a deal. Yeah, it's a lot about just how comfortable you are, really. Because like for me, it's nothing because I just go and uh, I tinker and I do what's got to be done. I'm too content on silver blue. Nothing ever breaks. Never heard of silver blue before. Yeah, I mean, some people need it. Some people need some people need stability. Others need adventure. Uh, and it's all about, do I want to take a step out of my house? Do I want to take that step out of my house and venture into something new. That's what it comes down to, really. Like for me, I'm content right now with where I'm at. Immutable Fedora with a GNOME desktop. Yeah, see, okay, so I am starting to find people who also like GNOME. I uh am one of those people that I I like GNOME products. I don't know how I view them as a company. I don't like some of the things that they've done necessarily as a company, but as a product, yeah, I can get down with a lot of it. Like I still use Nautilus to this day. To this day, I still use Nautilus. I also use what else do I use that's GNOME related? Um, I guess I use GNOME Sudoku. I guess. I don't. Here's the thing. I don't even play games that often. Uh, these days, I'm either working or I'm working with Linux. That's it. And when I'm working with Linux, I'm generally just tinkering with something or trying to get something that I want accomplished with it. Because I could care less about whether or not um, whether or not it's open sourced, whether or not it's like insert blank here, right? I could care less about those things. What I care most about is my user experience and customizing that user experience on my computer. That's what I care about the most. For laptops, good. On a desktop, need dash to panel. Um, dash to panel. I've used dash to panel before. I'm trying to remember how that worked out exactly, but I have used it. Um, yeah, I mean it's good. I think basically what it does is that it converts everything into like a uh like into one panel instead of having like your top bar and then your task bar. I think that's what it aims to do, and like you can customize the different things. Yeah, I've done that before, um, and I've actually really liked the look of it too when I did that. It just got to a point though where I was not able to customize GNOME as much as I wanted to, and so I just used like I just went to something else. Is what I'm trying to say. I wasn't able to do what I want. And shameless plug here. If you guys are interested, and if you have Discord, you're interested, you can go to my link tree to my Discord server, and you can join it if you haven't joined it already. And you can get help there. You can talk with other Linux YouTubers or users. I'm not going to say YouTubers because we don't really have any yet. But anyone who uses Linux, you can talk with them about Linux. You can also post your risings. You can also ask for help with anything you need to. I'm not going to guarantee that I know all the answers, but I can most certainly try to help out where I can and when I can, and all that good stuff. So, yeah, just wanted to get that out there. Oh boy, how do I feel? How do I feel after doing this tier list though? Man, like I don't know. I think I feel okay considering how I've used um considering how I have used distributions in the past. I guess. Um, Oh, I somehow missed this one comment here. I like the UI of Pop! OS. It genuinely feels like an actual product. I try to use base distros and not forks of forks. Yeah, that's kind of how I am. I don't want to. I don't want to use like. I guess my biggest rule is I don't like using forks at all. Having said that, there are some forks that I think are useful for people. Um, and Pop! OS being a fork of Ubuntu, I guess it was fine. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't really care for forks like other people do. I guess I'm just more of like a uh, like I want to use what was originally based off of. Shard Mancer, welcome back, my friend. Hope you're doing well today. We just we've been discussing this tier list that I put together. About put together, I mean I went to tiermaker.com, found a list, and just started putting icons in places where they shouldn't have went. But yeah, glad to have you here. Um, I'd put Endeavor OS in A tier with Mint and Pop. Okay. Yeah, we've heard talk about Endeavor today. That's not bad. I've never used Endeavor. Um I think I think it could I think it could work. Oh, I should try Void. Let me write that down. Void Endeavor, because at some point we're gonna do live streams where we cover like I give a review on how I feel about certain distributions. Um, that's just something we're gonna do at some point. Just do some live streams of it. But first, I've got to cover Casio because I said I would cover it at some point. The only thing is that in my schedule I got a couple of videos to do. Like one of them being I want to cover something about Python, and I want to do an art stream. I want to do a retro gaming stream too at some point. I don't know. I just got all these different ideas I want to do, so we'll make it work. Let me just put it that way. Um, let's see. Bedrock Linux for loss of sanity. Gotcha. Um, hmm. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Um, yeah. So I don't. The only thing that I mean, I have customized Grub in the past. I enjoyed, well, I say I enjoyed. I think it was a headache at first because I wanted to make sure that I was doing everything correctly. But, once you know what you're doing, customizing the Grub is not that bad. I would prefer that everything that I have is customized, like including my login screen. Right now, I don't have a login screen just because I'm trying to figure out like what is going to be the best, uh, what's going to be the best to customize my login screen the most. Um, but yeah, like when I went with Arch, it was like they gave me the option of System D or Grub, and I went with Grub because like, um, I want to be able to like if I ever had to dual boot, which I don't want to dual boot, but if I ever had to dual boot again, I would want to use Grub for that reason. It's just the thing about dual booting is like it's really it's really a pain. It's really a pain for me. Other people they can do it just fine. They don't have any issues. But yeah, as far as a broken Grub, that's gotta suck though, because you wanna be able to boot into your uh, distribution, right? Like you don't want anything broken. I'm just curious as to how it was broken. If anyone could clue me in on how it was broken. Yeah, I'm just taking a moment. Been talking a lot, so I'm just taking this moment just to breathe. But yeah, I'm trying to think of some other distributions that I may not have covered. Like I feel like I haven't ever covered Kubuntu or Lubuntu for that matter. I haven't done all the other Ubuntu's, I guess. Never tried NixOS. I heard it was an interesting one though. Let's see what else is there. Um, hmm. I can't think of any other distros off the top of my head that I haven't tried. Yeah, I'm just kind of. I don't know. I need to find like more things to talk about because like I don't know when I do these streams I'm like this is the goal that I want to set. This is what I want to go towards, and then I do the thing, and then like but it's whatever. I'm just happy that you guys are here with me today. I'm glad to have had the interaction. It's been nice. Pika OS. Never heard of that one. It's not that I haven't even tried it. It's just I've never even heard of it to begin with. So that is also interesting. I noticed that y'all don't have a whole lot. I noticed that y'all don't have a whole lot of opinion on Gentoo. Like no one has disagreed with me on Gentoo. I'm so happy about that. OpenSUSE, like I said, I never had an opinion on it. I know that the Linux cast used it. Um, that's why it's there. But Alpine Linux, I've heard of it, never used it. Um, actually, okay. So here's a question. Um, what is a good distribution for ARM based processors? Gentoo is a time waster and power waster. Here's the thing. I don't disagree with that at all. I 100% agree with that. Yes. Yes, it does. Um no, I absolutely agree with you. Like, yeah. I've never like there's this one time someone was like, "Oh yeah, you'll do Gen 2 one day." I'm like, "No, I don't think so, buddy. I don't want to have to build everything. I'm good. I'm good. Okay?" and that's exactly what I told her that day too. I'm like, "No, I'm good, dog. I don't want to do it." ARM distro for desk. Yes, that's what I was getting at. Like I watched a video last night where Kent he was reacting to a video where this dude was using a Chrome OS book and he was trying to get like Linux on there, and he got to a point where like he wasn't able to install something because of like he it was an ARM based processor, and like there's not a whole lot of distributions out there that apparently support ARM processors. Oh yeah, that's right. Debian I think does. Yeah. Well, it's something new every day. And I used Debian for a little while before I switched back to Arch. Didn't even know it. I just joined the stream. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Why Gen 2 in the Mac OS tier? Genuine question. I'm not a Gen 2 user at all. I just don't want to compile stuff too. I guess if that's the thing. Okay, so this is that's kind of why it's in I'd rather use Mac OS. And if I could, I would put it in I'd rather use Chrome OS. Or if it was in another tier, I would rather just never use computers again if all I had was Gen 2. That is the type of tier that we're talking about here. Because Gen 2 is one of those things where you have to compile every single thing. And I'm not about doing all that mess. And like I heard that the installation in itself could take hours. So that's another reason why I wouldn't do it. So you can go to DistroWatch and use their search function. Oh yeah, DistroWatch. It's been a while since I've been to DistroWatch. Oh no, Ubuntu that low? I joined too late and plan to switch soon from Windows. Yeah, so here's the thing about Ubuntu. I've talked about Ubuntu several times on this channel. Ubuntu just has, like, every time I install it, I've run into issues where, like, things would just freeze up. Like, I would try to move files from my external hard drive to my internal, and it would just freeze my computer. And I didn't know why. And, like, sometimes I wouldn't even be doing anything. And then I go to move my mouse, and then it just... It won't move because it's frozen. And I don't know why it gets that way. Ubuntu also ranks that low for me just because I don't really care for Canonical as a corporation. And I'm also one of those people that I don't think all corporations are bad. I just think that there's some of them that I don't care for as much as others. And Canonical is one of those. I just don't really... It's like... Ubuntu, I guess, is great if you... oh yeah, you're welcome for the answer. Ubuntu is just one of those that I mean, if I had to, if I had no other distribution or operating system, yeah, I would use Ubuntu. And would I customize the ever-living crap out of it? Yes, as much as I possibly could. That's just... I guess it just depends. It depends on what you want to do. Like, if you're a beginner, which it kind of sounds like you are, if you're switching from Windows, I don't know. You can try Ubuntu. You can try it out, see how you like it. It's just not something I would recommend to a beginner, simply because of the problems that I've mentioned just now. Tried Mint last week, and that was a breeze. Besides the Orca slice, I got everything to run even games. Okay. So you have used Linux after all. Sorry about that. I did not realize that. So you use Mint. Why would you want to move to Ubuntu from Mint then? I'm just more curious about that than anything. Ubuntu gets suggested a lot, and it's easy if you're coming from Windows, Mint or Pop will do the same thing for you, though. I've had better experiences with Mint personally. Yeah, so that's the thing about it. Um, it just when it comes to recommending something for beginners, I always say Linux Mint or Pop OS, and it just comes down to what kind of environment you want to go with. I've realized that Pop OS is shifting gears from GNOME to their Cosmic desktop environment, but like they started on uh, GNOME, and so it just depends on if you want like more of a Mac feel or a Windows feel. And Linux Mint will give you that and then some. Pop OS will give you Mac OS feel and then some. Um, but yeah, Zorin or Elementary OS are good too. I've heard that Elementary OS is good. I've never used it before. Never used Zorin either, for that matter. I have heard. Oh, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't think I've heard good things about Zorin, but I have heard good things about Elementary OS. I'll say that much. Yeah, and I guess that's where I make the exception for, um, like when I said earlier that I don't really care for forks. That's where I make the exception. Like if it's Ubuntu, or like if it's a fork of Ubuntu, then like yeah, I'll make an exception for it. Um, but um, yeah, like as far as anything Ubuntu based, like they generally turn out to be better uh than Ubuntu itself. I've noticed. So I would definitely I would keep that in mind. Like if you want to go with Ubuntu, I would suggest going with something that's Ubuntu based instead, because they've ironed out everything that they need to for the most part, and that's just how I feel about that. I just tested Mint, not fully switched yet. I assumed Ubuntu and Mint to be on the same tier roughly, and was curious what the reason was since I am that new still. Gotcha. Yeah, so um, Ubuntu has like a lot of different things that's wrong for it. Um, Ubuntu, uh, yeah, I at one point in my life, hold on one second. Wow, that was the first time I ever tried that out. I was at so I got this new mic a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was a few weeks ago now. And I'm able to like tap on my mic to mute it, and like it works beautifully. I think. Um, let's see. Cosmic Kokery, thanks for joining the stream, buddy. Someone grades Ubuntu like it should be graded. OpenSUSE is also really good. Yeah, see, OpenSUSE I don't really have much of an opinion about, um, but it's I from what I've seen, it's not like the worst thing in the world. But I don't want to put a grade on it since I haven't really used it and don't have much an opinion on it. Um, but yeah, I mean, Ubuntu. What can I say about Ubuntu that I haven't already said? Like, um, big corporation behind it. Uh, all the bugs that I witnessed with it. I also deal with. Um, well, I don't deal with them. I mean, you've also got like snap packages that you have to worry about sometimes with Ubuntu. I also don't like apt all that well, but I will use it over DNF any day. But that's just because I'm not nearly as experienced with Fedora to be able to say that. But I think here's one good thing I will say about Ubuntu. Ubuntu has a fan base that's so big that like if you need something that if you need help with something, uh, there's going to be an answer for it. Like you go to Ask Ubuntu and you go to some of those other forums, um, that's what you go with. Um, gotcha. Um, let's see. Okay, so let's catch up on YouTube stuff now. Let's see. CachyOS and EndeavorOS are good for everyone as well. Gives you the chance to learn. I could learn to agree with that. Uh, I use Ubuntu at work, but I just disable snaps. See, here's the thing. I use Lubuntu at work. Um, yeah. So and I don't even use snaps at all for it. Um, yeah, my friend wanted to put Linux on his old MacBook. I got him on Endeavor. He's been having a good time with it. I've run it on Pies as well. Worked well for me. Gotcha. Strawberry Kitten, thanks for joining the stream. Glad you could make it. I don't remember what your messages were, but I did see them. I was just trying to get to everybody else at the time. Just trying to get caught up on comments. But yeah, I've been curious as far as like how people get Linux on MacBooks. That's always interested me because I didn't think you could do. I didn't think you could do that, but I guess you can. I guess it goes to show that you can install Linux on anything, really, and that's always a plus. Because like, what if I do end up with a Chrome OS, like what if I do end up with a Chromebook, like, I don't want to use Chrome OS. Oh yeah, I remember what the comment was now. Your comment was in regards to Snap. If you like Snap, then that's great for you. Like I feel like you don't have to use what everyone else is using just because they don't like a thing. I think if you like using snaps, then you just use whatever works for you. That's always my philosophy. Is that it may not work for everybody else, but if it works for you, then use it. For me, it just hasn't really been useful for me. That's the only thing about snaps that I would say. But yeah, I've heard people running stuff on Pies. I've never used a Pi before. Um, it's just I don't know. I guess it's between not having the money and not having interest really in it. Like my laptop right now is what I use for all my Linux stuff at this point. Um, yeah, great way to look at things. Yep, definitely. Um, yeah, that's always my go-to though. So like, going back to the Ubuntu argument, if Ubuntu works for you, just go for it, my dude. Like, I'm just a dude with an opinion. At the end of the day, all that I can do is just be like, oh, I would recommend this or I would not recommend this, and that's just based on my experiences. Which the real experience comes down to when you start using it. Like, how is that going to look for you? Because you're the one that's going to be using the distribution at the end of the day. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I'll definitely. Let's see, Zorin. Oh yeah, I got Endeavor. Zorin. Elementary OS. It's kind of ironic that they're called OSs, seeing as how they're distributions. But what do I know? Well, other than some hiccups, I think the stream went well in regards to using Restream. I just recently got on Twitch as well, so I've been streaming to Twitch and all, and just to see how all this works out. I had some bugs here and there, um, but it's not really that. It's not that bad now, but it was then, and I think a lot of it has to do with I've got like Viadude open as well, and Viadude is just what's making my avatar move. I'm actually looking into getting Honk because I've been looking for like VTuber stuff. But the problem is that if I'm already having issues uh, with Viadude Mini, then I don't know if I'm gonna have these problems when I'm using Honk, and I don't even know if it's gonna be compatible. Don't forget Pika OS. If you Yes, I am writing them down. Let me write down Pika OS as well. Yeah, these are just gonna be like they're like one day I'm just gonna like sit down for each of these, and we'll do separate streams, and just be like, what's my journey? What's it like? What does it look like for me when I use it? That's what it's gonna come down to. But I feel like as much as I really want to keep the avatar stuff going, I may not be able to keep it going. And that's going to be kind of sad because I thought that my graphics card was good. I think it's just a program, so that's why I want to try Honk and see if it will drop the frame rate. Because if it's going to drop the frame rate, then I just don't need to use it at all. But like, if I can, I would really like to use my avatar to move. I've been in a phase lately where I want to use like VTuber stuff. PicoOS is based on Debian testing branch. You can Debian, but everything up to date and optimized, and they are focused at gaming and desktop use as well. Ooh. I actually think I would enjoy that. The fact that you can do all of that, yeah. I like that idea. Um, Gaming and desktop use, yeah. I'm trying to figure out in my head how that would look. Oh, you know what else might be doing it? Kava. Kava might be lowering my FPS because it is running at like 60 frames. But like, I wasn't missing FPS where I was recording. It's only when I'm streaming. Yeah, so mostly today was also like just experimental because like I was trying to make sure that I get everything right. I want to thank you guys for those of you who have been subscribing to me and following. I want to thank you, and also make sure you give the stream a like if you do like the content, and if you don't, well, I mean there's a dislike button. I highly discourage it, but I can't stop you if you want to dislike it. But yeah, I just I want to thank everyone for being here. It's been great. I've enjoyed it. Um, but yeah, Pika OS. I don't know. I used I can't remember if it was Trixie or Sid. I want to say it was Sid. But there was one time where I was using Debian and like I I did a upgrade to one of the two. I think it might have been the I think it might have been Sid. And so I updated my stable Debian, which is the wrong thing to do. Because if you're gonna install it, you might as well reinstall Debian, but just with Sid, um, because you can run into complications like I did. And the complications that I ran into was I um, I was trying to install. Well, actually, I wasn't trying to install. I was trying to update everything. I was trying to update um, wine. It was wine. Yeah, it was wine. And I, for some reason, could not update it. And I had updated every other thing because I was getting all these errors. And so I fixed all the errors except for this one error that I could never get to fix. And it was always because one dependency conflicted with another, and I couldn't remove the two, and I couldn't just resolve the issue because they were at conflict with each other. So they were fighting against each other for the same purpose. Um, Arch and Manjaro on all my machines. Yeah, Arch is on my laptop. That's all I've got at the moment. I used to have a desktop, but I decided that I would rather have a laptop. And like one day I may just decide to go all out and like pay that $600 to get like a gaming PC, but like I got one for like half the price and it had like all the specs that I could want out of a computer. I think the only thing is that I would rather have a more buffed GPU, especially if this is the way that my computer is going to act when I'm streaming. But yeah, Arch and Manjaro, um, I I don't think it deserves the F tier, but I don't think it's the best thing ever. I think for me, it they've had too many like oh, what's the word I'm looking for? They've had too many like issues in the past. I'll just say issues. Um, on top of that, I don't really care for them doing what they do as far as um, I guess just the way that they self promote on their distro, which do bear in mind that like they can do whatever they want. I just don't like it that much. And it's like Manjaro just yeah, I wouldn't say it's bad necessarily. I just wouldn't say that it's that good. Like there's other options, but it's whatever. Uh yeah, my laptop is pretty much daily driver with Manjaro. It's been great, mainly for dev stuff and easy to access the packages. Trying to build out more Arch servers with scripts for stable. I love Fedora. Gotcha. Um, yeah, I don't have like I've tried Fedora before. I don't have as much of an opinion as I would like to have for Fedora. That's why I put it in C tier because I'm just kind of like I feel it's just I don't feel like it's bad, but at the same time I don't like having to update it every 6 months, and I don't care for the package manager. Um, but really, those are just like uh, flavor flaws, is what I would call them. As far as Manjaro, though, if you like Manjaro, then that's great. Like, use what works for you, because you're not the only one. You like there are other people that um, enjoy it too. You know, there's lots of people that enjoy Manjaro. And I've used Manjaro before. It does make accessing packages easier. I will admit that. Um, and they like here's the thing about Manjaro too. Um, you don't get updates right away. You usually get updates like once every 2 weeks or something like that, from what I understand. And that's not really a problem for a lot of people because that just means that they don't have to worry about like if something breaks immediately. Like someone will come out with a fix and then like within that 2 weeks you'll get it. So I don't really see the issue in it. Um, let's see. Manjaro, I'm trying to think of some good stuff about Manjaro because I know that there's some good stuff about Manjaro. Um, yeah, that's what I would. That's mostly what I would say about it. Yeah, that is really handy. I like that mic. Like here's here's a tip for those of you that decide you want to start making videos or you want to start streaming. Get yourself a microphone that you can just tap to mute. Best thing in the world, in my opinion. The brand that I went with is called Fafine, and it does work with Linux. I'm using it right now. You know, if you're in need of a microphone and you need something that's like doesn't cost you a whole lot, it's cheaper than a Blue Snowball mic, and that's what I used to use for many years. But then I had to get a new mic, and I love this one, so I would definitely recommend it. Plus, with the AR, I get updates pretty quick for the few apps I use. Yeah, um, the AR is usually pretty. Here's the thing about the AUR. The AUR is really good if you can't find it in Pac-Man. And it's really good because like in other distributions, you would just be out of luck if you couldn't use if you couldn't use like your package manager to get the application, you would just be out of luck for the most part. OpenSUSE Tumbleweed is really good, better than Manjaro. Yeah, that's the thing about about OpenSUSE. I've seen people use OpenSUSE. I've never used OpenSUSE before, and I don't really have much of an opinion on it, and that's why it's where it's at on the tier list. Um, if I used it, I would probably use the rolling release of OpenSUSE. I'm not sure if there's any other type of ways that you could use I think there is another way that you can use OpenSUSE, but I would probably use the rolling release. Just go from there. But yeah, as far as it being better, I don't know. You don't have to worry so much about it being better than Manjaro. Is the question is it better than Fedora? I think that would be my question because like anything's gonna probably like okay so. Oh, need to try. It's very nice. Let me put that on the list too then. OpenSUSE Tumbleweed. It's great and stable. Gotcha. Um, but yeah, here's the thing about Manjaro or about this tier list that I've got. Okay, Ubuntu is like the thing you wouldn't use, but then you put in a less than sign, and then you got Manjaro. Then you put another less than sign, and you got Fedora. That's the ranking system in my world as I see it. So, like, for me, I'd have to know if it was better than Fedora. Oh, they are the same. They both use RPM. Gotcha. What are you trying to accomplish? Not so much what's better, but is it the right tool for the job? Okay. Uh, what am I trying to do with it? Um, I don't know. Can you do all your creative stuff in it? Can you do gaming? Uh can you tinker with it? Can you use like a window manager with it? I'm just trying to think of like all the use cases that I have for my computer because I use it as my daily driver. Like I use Arch as my daily driver, so um, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Um, but no, I get your point, and that is a good question. OpenSUSE package manager is kind of slow but really good. OpenSUSE Tumbleweed gives me better gaming experience and also use it for coding. Good deal. Good deal. Here's another question. What does everyone use uh, for their code editing? Yep, they even have all that. Gotcha. Well, that's good though. That you're able to do all that. That is really nice. They have OPI, which is like AUR and Arch. Oh. So then, like, why would someone want to use OpenSUSE over Arch? I guess. Like, they have two completely different ways that they go about it. I'm just trying to figure out, like, which one would be better. But then again, I guess it comes down to how are you going to use it. Uh, in Vim with lazy Vim, gotcha. Slackware for coding. Okay, so everyone's using something different. Like yesterday, someone came by. They asked me what I use for like my IDE, and I've been telling people that I use something called Genie. It's a GEANY. And if I didn't use Genie, I would just use VS Code probably. I only use Vim when it comes to editing in the terminal, just because I um I just I don't know. I've always been familiar with those. Mostly use VS Code, but been having a look at NeoVim. But I'm just a hobby coder and do some scripting. Yeah, you're never gonna see me. You're never gonna see me say that I'm like a professional at coding. I also consider myself like a hobby coder. I've scripted some stuff here and there, or like I guess when I say scripted, I mean like I've just tweaked certain things and I've added elements based on my knowledge of things. But like I would still consider myself a hobby coder. Um, I consider OpenSUSE better than Arch for me. I want more stable system with Snapper pre-configured for me. Okay, so so there's just more stability, I guess, is what you're saying. Um, I don't know. I might have to look into OpenSUSE at some point. I mean, well, I will be looking into it. I just don't know if I will use it as a daily driver. I use NVim to add in the terminal. It's really nice and light. Gotcha. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Definitely at your age, learn as much as you can about coding and about Linux, and just absorb it all in. Um, I that's what I would do, for sure. It's really good that you are learning at such a young age about this stuff. I have been working with computers since I was like about 6 or 8. First operating system I ever used was Windows 95. And then I I did some building of computers every now and then. Uh, but my main thing was always about software, I guess. I was always more into coding than I was computer building, but I enjoy both nonetheless. Um, let's see. My only complaint about OpenSUSE is that they dropped Yast when I installed it, which is like one of the highlights of the distro. The command line works perfectly for installing and updating stuff. Okay. You'll love it, but don't forget to read their wiki about codecs. Also install DaVinci on their system is pain in the ass. Well, I just broke my rule. Normally I don't like to I don't like to I personally don't like to curse on the stream just because I like to keep it a little more professional here. But sometimes it happens. I've never used DaVinci Resolve though. Um, I have always been more of a fan of Kden Live. I just I I don't know enough about DaVinci Resolve on Linux since Windows 8 dropped. I've been on Linux since probably it wasn't Windows 10. It had to have been Windows 11. I went to Linux when it was Windows 11. I mean, it still is Windows 11. Uh, yeah, the same love software more. Gotcha. Well, I'm glad it is justified. I don't know, like I don't know. I see a lot of YouTubers on here, like especially in the Linux space, that like they curse up a storm, and I quite frankly don't understand why you have to do that. Like, don't get me wrong, I sometimes curse in my daily life. I just try to keep the channel a little more professional, as best as I can. Um, but I just like when you're saying like the F word every other time, like every other sentence, I'm just like, buddy, you need a bigger vocabulary. Um, Better than KDE software is the best thing you can use for Linux. I let me. There's a lot of stuff I'm having to write down today, y'all. I'm gonna write down DaVinci. I actually heard that it was proprietary software. Now, with it being proprietary software, does that mean that it's free as well, or do you have to pay for it, or how does that work? Doop doop doop. And man, I'm gonna have to get up and do some stretches in a minute. Let's see. They have a free version and a paid version. Okay. Yeah, I might have to try the free version first, and then if I like it, go with like paying for it. Cause I don't like. Here's the thing, I don't mind paying for stuff, like paying to support the creators. I don't mind doing that whatsoever. Um, I I try to help out when I can. If it's not monetarily, I try to do it with videos, like trying to support their creations. In fact, I might end up doing a video. Like, I'll probably end up doing a video of Viadude Mini. Uh, because there are some things about it that I like and some things that I don't like about it. But, like, yeah, the problem is the free version doesn't support some codecs. Gotcha. So that's why it's a pain, is because you're having to install the codecs. 256. I think you mean I think you mean H265. Yeah, because like there's H.264 and then there's H.265, I think. I still use H.264, I think. Just because like there's still some things that aren't compatible with 265. Oh yeah, okay. There we go. I like to support PETA to rescue cows into. Oh, that's that got dark real quick. I'm sorry, that that just got dark. But yeah, no, I get that. Like you you pay for what you support. Like if you think something's a good product, like you're just gonna pay for it. Like you just because you value their time, you value their efforts. Ew, 264 isn't supported? What? That's insane, dog. I don't know about that one. I'll still try out DaVinci though. Dude. That's crazy. Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying about 264 was that it is uh faster for YouTube. Um but dang, they're not supported. That's crazy. So really what I had to do is like probably render it out as a MKV maybe. Oh, you know what? That's crazy. The problem is the free version on Windows is supported, but on Linux it's not. Like, what kind of sense does that make? I guess it's like, hey guys, we made this thing for Linux, but we don't care for Linux, so if you'll just come to Windows, we'll offer it for free. I'm, I'm like, dude, come on. Like, why? Why are you doing this? I mean, I guess at that point you'd have to find a different format to do it. And the only other thing that I can think of that I would like would be MKV because I'm sure not going to use FLV for that. Even though it would, I mean, you could argue that you could probably just render it out as a FLV, but like, I don't want to. No, I agree. I agree. It's a crappy thing. Uh, Always DaVinci devs make me mad all the time. They're not gonna bother for 7%. Gotcha. Well, wait a minute though. We did have 4% market share last year, and now we're back to 3. I think it's 0.8 something percent. Yeah, I don't think it's at 7%. I thought it went back to 3% because it fluctuates. Like everything else in life, it fluctuates. So like it's not always going to be at 4. Sometimes you're going to be at 3. Sometimes you'll be a little higher than 4. But 7% is a new one for me. I have not heard that one yet. Yeah, if you have DaVinci, you better have an NVIDIA. Oh, see, that's the thing. I don't have NVIDIA. I used to have NVIDIA, uh, but that was with my old computer. Now I just have Intel. AMD, you need to have ROCm. Same as some games are compatible with Linux, but only on the Steam Deck as there is background check. Oh. I wonder why that is then. Like why it's only compatible with uh some games on the Steam Deck, but it's not compatible with Linux. Oh, okay. We're still at 4%. Yeah, I had someone talk about yesterday. It was like the year of the Linux desktop. I still want to. I still want to do a video about that, about the year of the Linux desktop. just because I think people need to. Um, I think people need to reevaluate what they mean when they say you're the Linux desktop. Um, but yeah, I'll save that for another video. Uh, what's the light blue in A called? My guy. Are you talking about Arch? Is that what you mean? Okay. Uh, let's see. Thinking about talking with my university next year to switch our old computers to Linux. Oh, okay. Um, yeah, that would be interesting to see how that goes. Um, I think there are use cases for every walk of life. Um, when it comes to computers, like I touched a little bit on this yesterday. So, like what I was explaining was that you typically have like four different types of users. You've got your Linux users, you got your Windows users, your Mac users, and then your Chrome OS users. Okay, so I don't really care for Chrome that much, so it doesn't matter for me. Um, so I don't like. To me, it seems like it's very limiting, but it's great if you like the Google ecosystem. Mac is generally for people that want something simple, and they'll pay money to get something that is simple and that looks good at the same time. Um, the um, Windows users are going to be everyone else, and then the Linux users are typically your tinkerers, your customizers, even though that's not all that can do. Um, and so, like, Windows is going to be for that person that is, like, not really tech savvy, but they want something that's going to be compatible with everybody else. So, yeah, just some things to think about, really. The one next to Mint, yeah, everyone's correct. It is Pop OS. You can make DaVinci work with AMD, but you need to have a specific kernel and ROCm. You know what? Those tiers were chosen to make it say AMP. Uh, you know, uh, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that at all. But you're right. You right. Chrome is Linux, but with Google skin. Yeah. Um, I mean, it is, but at the same time, even though I've never used a Chromebook, it seems like it's more limiting. Just because like it's not a full on Linux desktop, it just seems like it's more limiting. Like I don't know what you could do with it. Like as far as gaming goes, I think I might have saw. Well, actually, I'm not going to claim that, but I thought I saw Steam on there. I'm sure that you could get something like GeForce Now to work on there, though. Um, it's just I I don't know. I don't know. I I wouldn't be well. I say that, but I would probably use Chrome OS if I was in a pinch. I would probably just try to install Linux if I had a Chromebook. The benefit of Mac is the hardware quality. I just sold my M3 MacBook Pro. It was great. My favorite Apple product is the Magic Trackpad. It's so nice having a big touchpad on the desk. That is also a good point. They do have good hardware quality. I I started to go with a MacBook when I was on the search for a laptop, but I wasn't. I didn't even know that I was going to come back to Linux at the time. And if I had known that I was going to come back to Linux, then I would have been like, yeah, maybe I'll just get a MacBook instead and just install Linux on there. But yeah, no, I would agree that they have pretty good. hardware quality. I don't most of the time customize my Linux. Gotcha. School had used them. They're useless. I've had so many Dells or other brands over the years. Just hinges break, cases crack. It's a pain. Yeah. No, I get that. Customization is Windows conditioning. People trying to feel in control of their PC by changing the curtains. I'll come back to that comment in a second. I have some thoughts. Yeah, you can use Proton, I guess, on Chromebook. Okay. Did not know that. Now, let me go back to customization as Windows conditioning. This is interesting that you say that because back in the day with Windows XP, I used to install like themes. So like I had a Nightmare Before Christmas theme going on, and like it changed my cursor, it changed like my icons, it changed my taskbar, the way that it looked, and like it changed a lot of that stuff. I'm personally someone that like as far as my primary use of Linux, it's for customization. Like I've always enjoyed that, and when Windows took that away from me, when like after XP, it was not really as customizable as it once was, and it made me a sad penguin. So no, I can understand that from that standpoint. I just yeah, I don't know. Um, Customization's a big thing for me, I think. On Proton DB, you can see games that works on Chromebook. Did not know that was possible, but that's good to know. ThinkPad T490. Oh, we're talking about Lenovo now. Now we're talking about Lenovo's. I've heard that they were pretty good machines. Quality machine, but it was getting a little slow. Gotcha. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about Lenovo's. Well, actually, no, I say that, but then you've got like people that are like, "Oh, and it was built by the Chinese. It was the Chinese corporations and the companies." And I'm just like, dude, you need to calm down. You need to just take a breather, dude. Okay, just take a breather for a second. Okay, not everything is bad just because someone else did it. Okay, it's not that bad. From what I've used of a Lenovo, they are pretty good machines, though. I will admit. I don't know. I've enjoyed them, but they were like when I was window shopping for them, they looked like really expensive to me, and so I just ended up not going with it. The newer ones also have the e-waste internals, at least the consumer tier laptops. Got you. Got a T14 ThinkPad right now, 10th gen i7. Just picked it up for, dude, 250. That is not bad. That's not bad. I don't think that's bad. So here's what I'm running at the moment. I am running it's a I mean, it's not going to be as buffed as other people's builds, more than likely. But I'm running, like, as far as my CPU, it is, it's like 700 megahertz per second as far as, like, its original base clock. But it has the potential to go as high as 3.4 gigahertz of a processor. So usually when it's on idle, it's usually running around 1 point something gigahertz, but it can go, like I said, as high as 3.4. And then I got like 16 gigs of RAM in it, got a terabyte of a SSD, and then the graphics card is like an Intel UHD graphics or something like that. And I picked mine up for like $300, and I didn't think it was bad for the price. I will say, however, that the camera does not look that great on the one that I got. But that's why I have a USB camera. if I needed a webcam. Um, let's see. Soldered RAM and Tupperware plastic. Hello and welcome to the stream. Pop being same as mint is bugging me. Haven't found pop to be as usable. I think that's just where we're gonna have to agree to disagree. I think. I started off with Pop OS, and I found it to be very useful at the time. It I don't know, like it just depends on your use case as far as like Pop versus Mint. That's why I recommend the two, because they're vastly different, but they give you the same outcome, and that is it is a beginner's distro, in my opinion, of course, that you can try out, see if you like it. Intel N355 Alder Lake. Oh, I think that's what mine is like Alder Lake or something like that, but it's like an N100. Iris Xe graphics, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte. Okay. Yeah, mine's also a quad core processor. I forgot to mention that. It's an Acer Aspire. Okay. Not bad for Acer. Ryzen 7900X, Corsair, 32 gigabytes. Oh my goodness. 32 gigabytes of RAM, my dude? That's good. That's pretty good. Also, you got a 580 that you're rocking? I'm a little bit jelly over here. Okay, I see you. 4 terabytes for a hard drive. My dude, I don't even know what to do with 1 terabyte. I couldn't possibly imagine having a 4 terabyte. You sound like you've got a really beefed up computer. I'm sure that it plays whatever games you want to play on it that Linux allows you to play on it. Yeah, it was quite expensive. Yeah, I bet. And that's what I was saying yesterday. Was like, you don't necessarily have to be rich in order to use Macs, because you can also be rich and use Windows. The only thing about Windows users compared to Mac users is that with Mac users, they will buy so that way you can have something that looks good and that you can do all your productivity with, and something that's like super simple for someone who's rich. Windows people, on the other hand, if they're rich, they'll use it to get a beefed up computer. They will use it to just for their builds, for the purpose of building the computer that you want. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, let's see. I'm trying to think of if there's anything else. Is there anything else I was gonna say? Because it's not gonna be too much longer before we wrap this stream up. Because we pretty much went over the main thing that I wanted to go over. So, I'm kind of just waiting to see if anyone had any last thoughts or anything before I ended the stream. Because we have been going for like 2 hours now, and usually that's pretty good for me. Oh my goodness, that is... Oh, your home server is a beast too. That's crazy with y'all's builds, man. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, everybody. And let me just remind everyone again that you can go to the link in the description. I believe that's where I've got the link for my link tree. You go there, you can check out some other cool stuff. It just came across in my recommendations. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad I was able to be there for you guys. And I'm glad I showed up in the recommendations. Um, let's see. If you want to program in Swift too, that's another reason for Mac. Mac Minis are great. I'm probably going to pick up one here soon. Want to mess around with Swift again? 200 to 250 on offer, up for a mini. Gotcha. But yeah, just a quick reminder, like I was talking about with the link tree. Uh, if you guys have a Discord and you ever want to get in contact with me, that's going to be the best way to do it. Go to my Discord, join it. You can talk to me there. You can, in the server specifically, you can post your risings. You can ask for help on anything that you need. You can just talk with other Linux users and all that good stuff. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the stream here. So yeah, I want to thank everyone for stopping by, and I will see you guys later.